Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Beyond Second Cognition. I'm Beall. The topic of this discussion is the Great Awakening, Covid-19, and the shift in consciousness. I'm going to dip right into the Q forecasts for those that follow the Q posts. Q has said all along, and I've put it out in my prior videos, that pain is coming. Too many people that follow Q think that the pain that was referenced was only going to come to the bad guys with arrests and things of that nature. But I told my listeners that the pain is going to be farther extended than that, and it's going to hit people that don't see it coming. Welcome to your present world with Covid-19. What we have taking place right now is a transitional shift in humanity's direction for the future. What's been referred to as the shift of consciousness for going on to 30 years or more now. The shift in consciousness is a shift in perceptual awareness and being able to knowingly and more better tap into the consciousness that lies within once you can get past the ego illusions that you think are your reality. What the Covid-19 virus did with a lot of people is it destroyed the illusion of what we call stability. We all believe we live in a stable world, that things are going to stay static and we have control over it. The truth of the matter is that we live in an ever-changing universe. We don't know from one minute to the next what's going to happen to us, whether we're going to fall into a state of hardship, have a car wreck, slip on a banana peel, break our neck, or whatever. We live surrounded with uncertainty every minute of every day. And so humanity has fabricated this myth called stability, thinking that everything is stable and is going to last. We concocted this myth over the ages because it gave us a sense of comfort, made us believe that with stability things were unchanging and will stay the same. Well, what the Covid-19 virus did to the entire world is it showed people that their perceptions of stability were an illusion. Too many people think we're going to get back to the way things were. No, we're not. We're in a transition period moving toward the future, and the illusion you perceive of as reality, your perceptual narratives, are going to be revealed ever more powerfully over the months and years ahead. What's called the Great Awakening, and this is the third or fourth time we've had great awakenings in history, is what's moving towards a transition point. The transition point is when we, as a species, can let go of all the illusions that we think of as our reality. We live in a world of hearsay, ladies and gentlemen. We believe what we believe because somebody told us to believe it. It got written in some holy book, or got written in some academic paper, or it got told to us by some politician. But in order to advance your awareness and free yourself from this world of perceptual illusion, you have to ask yourself one primary question. Why do I believe what I believe? When you ask that one most important seminal question, you are going to find out that no matter what you believe, whether it's about the external world or whether it's what you believe about yourself, if you scratch that belief just a little bit, it's going to pop like a soap bubble, because there's nothing to support it. You won't find any evidence, for the most part, for your beliefs. You believe them because somebody told you to believe them, and you believe them because other people believe them, and you want to run with those other people collectively as a herd. And so collective illusions are not any better than individual illusions. So ask yourself, why do I believe what I believe? And then start analyzing your beliefs. Start scratching those bubbles and see how long they can sustain and how quick they pop like soap bubbles. We live in a world where there's no responsibility. If you look at certain writings, Conversations with God, Book 1, Bringers of the Dawn, the New Paradigm Trilogy, they all emphasize personal responsibility. Personal responsibility is ownership. It means that you own who you are and you own what you do. Presently, people don't do that. They beat their breasts and bleat about being individuals, while they're mostly herd animals living in an illusion dictated to them through some narrative created by somebody else. We all believe in hearsay evidence. There's no real evidence to substantiate what we believe in most cases. The way we're going to transition as a species out of this into a new paradigm of consciousness working in absolute knowing collusion with our brains is by eliminating the illusion. You can't serve two masters. You have truth and you have the lies. And for those Christian believers, Satan is the master of illusion. Well, if it's Satan's world, you've all bought into it hook, line, and sinker, because you all live in illusion. Every illusion that you can think of. And you call it reality. There is no ownership. Regardless of how much of an individual you say you are, you're relinquishing that individuality by giving your power to somebody else. You elect a government official, you listen to preachers and imams and gurus and all these other things, academics and other authorities, and you listen to what they say and then make your decisions based on their narrative as to what you want to believe. You don't use any determinative factors through critical thinking or critical questioning in your own mind, and so you have no personal responsibility. You're giving it away. People want to talk about a government of, by, and for the people, but the fact of the matter is you people are too lazy to do government for yourselves. You'd rather elect somebody and go vote every 2 years or 4 years and say, oh, I've done my part, and that's what you consider personal responsibility. While most people are completely uninformed on issues, they don't know what's going on, and they don't care to know what's going on, except I'm going to go vote when they hear the new narrative of the candidates that they're going to vote for. So you're not really individuals. You're psychologically controlled, psychologically manipulated narrative animals. Your beliefs are founded on nonsense. Your beliefs are founded on listening to other people rather than inquiring and finding out for yourself. Q has told people to expand your thinking. If you're not going to expand your thinking, you're going to be stuck right where you are with somebody feeding you information. And this is something I'll tell you anons that are into this stuff. When Q says expand your thinking, it doesn't mean deep dive into the details of what you already have. There's nothing wrong with some deep diving, but you can get lost in the details. While people are digging into the Q stuff, oh, I'm doing the deep dive, you're just deep diving on the same stuff. You're not, you're digging the hole down. You're not digging the hole larger around at the top. You're not being expansive. You're being tunnel vision focused. And so there's people out there that still want Q proofs. They don't need any proof at this point. If you haven't seen enough proof at this juncture, then you're sadly lacking in the perceptual department. But deep diving into details on information you're given, if you want to know every player and every little jot and tittle of the whole Q thing, that's fine. But what are you learning outside of that? How are you really expanding your awareness? How are you really moving your consciousness out of that hole that you're digging through the deep diving? You're taking information Q is giving you, and that's where you're stuck. You're not expanding, you're stuck in a rut. So how can you be expanding your thinking and expanding your awareness if you stay stuck in a rut, dependent on every Q post, what does Q have to say today so I can make up my mind, versus getting out and discovering it for yourself, which is what Q advocates and what we advocate in all our work. If you want to stay stuck in a rut, that's where you'll be. If you want to expand your thinking and expand your perception and awareness into a higher state of consciousness, you're going to have to dig the hole bigger around, not deeper down. And this is just how it is. We live in a very strange universe. We are all co-creators in this process, and we do not understand the process because it hasn't been explained without propagandists putting mystical spins and whimsy on these notions. The work that I put out, that we put out, is there to help people expand their perceptions, to give them a broader 360-degree view of history and how we got where we are and how to stop being how we are so we can become something better. I have a book coming out in a week or two called Voodoo Reality, The Strangeness of Creation, and it's going to explain once again how this process works, how the creation process works, and how you create your own reality. Now, for all you New Age folks that are out there doing your Reiki energy work and throwing energy around, trying to shape the world to your desires, you're not creating your own reality, you're trying to create it for other people. You're being tyrants. You're trying to shape their world to your worldview. That's not creating your reality. That's stepping on other people's toes, trying to bend them to your reality will. This is what humanity's done throughout time. Somebody comes up with an idea and a bunch of other people say, yeah, I agree with that, and then they go out and start killing other people that disagree with it, and here we are. And it's been the mark of history throughout all of recorded human history. I don't care which group you want to pick, Muslims, Christians, Nazis, Romans, whatever. It's all the same. We all keep doing the same stuff and we don't learn a goddamn thing. If you want to understand how this process works and how to get yourself undone from the illusion, then you might want to read our work, because we provide the tools and the explanations about what is going on and how to go through this awakening process. Because what's going to happen in the months and years ahead is you're going to have more and more information thrown at you, what Q calls the avalanche. And if you're not doing a little bit of preparation beforehand to see the expanded picture, to expand your thinking, you're going to get blindsided. For the past 3 years, Q's been throwing the stuff out by the teaspoonful or the tablespoonful. Pretty soon it's going to turn into that avalanche, and then there's going to be shovels full of information coming out. And people that aren't expanding their thinking, they're going to get blindsided. They're going to be gagging on the shovels full of avalanche information because they've been too lazy to expand and too focused and too reliant on Q to do the work. If you don't start doing your own work, you're not going to advance your consciousness and your perceptual awareness into being a greater type of human being. If you want to remain ignorant and you want to remain led by other people's narratives telling you what to do, what to think, what to believe, look at the COVID virus. You can't go out of your house. Toilet paper's gone. Everybody's running out in a panic, and they're all doing the same damn thing. For years, people have talked about prepping, and all the news wanted to tell people was doomsday preppers in their bunkers. Wise preppers were well situated for this, including toilet paper. FEMA's been telling people for years, have at least 3 months worth of stock put back in case of emergencies, natural disasters, or whatever. Who listened? We don't listen because we don't want to. It disrupts our narrative of life. It disrupts our entertainment. It disrupts our being plugged into the music and the video games and going to the theater and Disney World and all this other shit. Don't disrupt my life with pragmatism. And so what our work does is it offers pragmatic solutions about what's taking place with this shift in consciousness, and it's already taking place. It's not going to be an instant magic wand point where everything just changes and everybody gets a get out of jail free card. The shift is already in process. People are advancing into it, those who are expanding their thinking, and they're finding the benefits and seeing the positive effects in their own lives for not being slaves to someone else's narratives. And so ask yourself, why do I believe what I believe? Understand that this COVID-19 is bad and aggravating as the situation is. It's not as deadly as what they want you to believe. The hype is there to sow fear, and look at how many people are running around in masks and social distancing and all this other shit. It shows you how easy you are to herd as frightened beasts. And it worked, but it also destroyed the illusion of stability. In order to repair the damage done to this world across the spectrum, from the political to the religious to the economical to the ecological, humanity's going to have to take responsibility and clean up its own mess. Once the shift completes taking place, people are going to look around all sheep-eyed at each other and say, oh shit, we got a mess to clean up. And when that happens, we're going to have the real shift in consciousness, because people are going to have to roll up their sleeves and figure out how they're going to do it differently than they have in the past. We cannot continue to repeat the same mistakes and expect a different outcome. And yet history is a testimony to repeated mistakes with the same outcome in the end. Things build up and then it falls into tyranny and things collapse. So you can't have it both ways. You can either repeat the errors of the past, or you can set a new path towards the future, which was put out in the New Paradigm trilogies, and which I've clarified in the Explaining the Shift in Consciousness book and Mission Earth, and will be explained even more in the Voodoo Reality book. For those that want to stay deep diving, dug in a hole, waiting for the Q post with bated breath every day, that's as far as you're going to go. But if you want to know what this is about, this shift in consciousness, the Great Awakening, and all this other stuff, you might want to expand your horizons a little bit. I got 40 books out there, and of all sorts of varied topics, to where you can start digging your expansion hole a little bit wider rather than deeper. Learn more, be more, become a person of knowledge. Learn to think and see in 360 perception rather than linear 1, 2, 3 thinking. It can be done. I've done it. Other people that have worked with our work have done it. You can either get it force-fed to you as the avalanche takes place according to Q's prognostications, or you can get out of there and get a little bit ahead of the curve and find out what's going on and adjust your perceptions now. We have all these podcasts. We have the Gemma Beall Patreon website, where people can come in, exchange ideas, and share their visions and their adventures and their experiences in their own pace of cognitive advancement. We've only got membership there for $7 a month, and that's cheaper than a cup of Starbucks almost. If you're too lazy to pay for your education, then you don't deserve to be educated. If you want to remain ignorant, then you're going to die stupid. That's just the way life is. But humanity is headed down to this transition for the shift in consciousness, and you can either go quietly and willingly into that shift, or you can resist it and perhaps go down as a result of your negligence and your refusal to challenge your narratives and ask, why do I believe what I believe? You want to remain ignorant? That's your choice. Everything about this is predicated on choice and intent. My intent is to see humanity become something different and something better, not go back to the old ways that have never worked. We have a historical accounting of failures. Why do we want to go back to the old ways, whatever they were, when they've been proven failures? Think about that, folks. Why do you believe what you believe? For those of you doing the work, stay the course and don't give up on yourselves.